Yeah, 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 Are you?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Mario, and I'd like to welcome you into another episode of the Random Select Podcast. It's the podcast that's all about thought provoking talk. And this week, I just want to talk to the women real quick. I just want to tell women, please choose wisely because I'm going to break it down this episode right here, percentage wise, and show you guys when it's all said and done what you really working with, what you truly, the pool you truly have to choose from. And like I said, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a relationship expert, I'm not a cultural scientist, a cultural expert, and that or anything like that. I'm just a person who live life, who's been out there, who's listened to friends talk, who's watching social media trends and things like that, and I'm just telling you, this is how I personally see it. You can agree or, not, or don't disagree, but leave some messages in the comment. Let me know if you agree with me. Let me know if you don't agree with me. Let me know if you think I'm crazy or you think I'm a genius. Either or, your comments are welcome and appreciated. And if you hear something that you like, please share it. All right, so let's get right to it. So if you went to any major city, any major metropolis, and you gathered up 1,000 black men, right? And when I do this particular thing, I'm predominantly talking about black men. I mean, this could be done for men in general, but I'm specifically talking to the black women. I'm specifically talking about the black man, since those are the two things I am definitely qualified to talk about. But if you went to any major metropolis, Atlanta, New York, Chicago, San Francisco, Dallas, Houston, anywhere, Miami, anywhere, and you gathered up as many black men as you could find, and you just started asking them questions. And so you could just say, as a woman, to try to narrow down and see, what you're working with. And I got five major things that I personally think is one of the reasons why you guys better start to choose wisely. You guys pool are very slim to none, slim pickings. And let me just preface all this by saying that once upon a time in my life, I fit in most of these categories. So I'm not saying just because a person is in these categories I'm about to name that they can't change and that they can't get their life together, and that they can't still become productive members in a relationship, productive people in a relationship, and end up being great loving mates. But I'm just telling you, this is what you got to choose from, and this is what you need to keep in mind when you're out there trying to figure out who you want to date. And one thing that we can't factor in these things I'm about to say, the X factor. You can't factor in dysfunctionality. You can't factor in bipolar. You can't factor in depression and things like that. And I'm not one of those people who just unaware of that certain X factors exist that make people do the things that they do and why people do the things that they do. I'm just talking about if the playing field was level and everything was normal, these are the five factors that I think make it hard for you guys to choose a suitable mate for you guys. And that's why I'm calling this Women Choose Wisely. And the first question, if you gathered all those people from those major metropolis areas, you would ask them, ask, um, have you ever been arrested? You know, that's what you would start off by asking the people. Have you ever been incarcerated? And these are the things that you would just start, asking people to try to narrow down to say what to kind of show what you would choose from. And as a woman, you got to ask yourself, okay, I could deal with a person having an arrest. Depends on what they were arrested for and things of that nature. Yeah, that's no problem. All right, cool. If you feel that that's no problem, then we can, go from there. Because everybody, depending on what's going on in your life, if you're a black man and you grew up, like I said, depending on what you grew up at, you've been racially profiled. You've been unduly made to lay on the ground, doing, maybe drug searches and bust or whatever in your neighborhood. Not everybody. I'm just saying, depending on where you grew up. I'm talking about in a major metropolis area, whether it been moving violation, playing your music too loud, or anything. Most of us, younger, Some of us got caught up in, drug violations and things of that nature. When we was coming up, we had a thing in Atlanta. I think it was called DC 6, something like that. Standing in a known drug area, you could just be hanging out with your friends. Y'all could be doing nothing, just standing up on the tree, and talking. And if they wanted to, they could truly lock you up because you were literally standing in a known drug area. So that's one of the factors that you say to yourself, okay, that person's been locked up. All right, that's one factor. All right. Um, the next factor you would ask yourself, and I mean, most women, you say, hey, I could deal with a man who's been locked up. That's nothing. You know what I mean? And then you go, cause some of these five things that I named, most men are, some men are gonna fall up on all these categories. All right, the next particular thing you're gonna ask yourself, or you're gonna have being said. Give me 1 second. Turn this down. Turn this off. The next thing you're gonna um, ask the person if how many kids you got. How many baby mamas that you have, and things of that nature. You know what I mean? So you say, okay, well, depending on who he is, and what how age he is, and I'm saying for this is for maybe by the time you turn 25 and older. You know what I'm saying? And nowadays, cats are getting it in. So, but like I said, I'm not saying this without prejudice. Prejudice. You know what I mean? I'm not saying this um, because I'm trying to act like I'm holier than thou. I'm telling you, most of these categories I definitely fit in, but I'm just trying to tell you as a woman, you need to look at this realistically and say this is what you're choosing from. You know, so you say, okay, he's been arrested. He's got more than two kids with more than multiple baby mamas, which I'm gonna have to see, for holidays and Christmases. I gotta go to two different households, and potentially he gonna have maybe a third child if I decide to have children with him. So you got to take that into consideration, things like that. So okay, let's say you got that right. Then you come in, and then you say, oh, okay, I could definitely deal with those two, right? But maybe I can't, maybe you can. Then we come in with the very next thing, unemployed. A guy doesn't have a job, right? You say, right now, okay, he's been arrested. He's got more than two kids, more than two baby mamas, and now he's telling me that he just needs some time to get back up on his feet. He's unemployed, right? You say, okay, maybe I could deal with that. So this is the pool you're choosing from. Let's just say if you stop right here and you say, okay, I got a man who's been potentially, arrested. I got a man who has two baby mamas, and I got a man who right now who's not working. And I'm just telling you, these are just factors. These is not, I'm saying on an everyday, regular basis. This is not the man that you're running into all the time. I'm just telling you some of the factors that contribute to you guys' choices are going down. Because if you feel you can't deal with any of those things right there, then there you have it. You already, don't you already your choices are already limited. Let's say you go into the next particular thing, right? And you say, okay, those three things maybe I can live with. You know what I mean? Depending on what the circumstances is, because we're gonna come with a story to explain each and every one of those things, right? All right, and then so you go into the next thing, the all important, all knowing child support. Now, the person who, like I said, got the I'm gonna just show you how it all ties in. Now the person who has the two different baby mamas with the two kids with the two different baby mamas. Now one of them, because maybe something's not going right, he's not doing whatever, or she jealous of the other person. He's spending more time with that person or doing more for that kid. She want to put him on child support, which is making him hard to get the job, which is why he's probably unemployed. And now because he's unemployed, they sent a warrant out for his arrest because he's not paying child support. And there goes the arrest. There him going to jail. It's amazing how all these tie into each other, right? So your pickings are slim because guess what? Now you're gonna either, if you were with him already, you're gonna have to spend money to get him out of jail. You're gonna probably have to be the one to help him find him a job. You're probably gonna be the one that have to probably help make some of those child support payments and do for those kids, right? Yeah, probably, maybe. So then which brings us to the next particular thing, right? And I'm gonna try to keep this short and sweet so you guys can truly understand and feel what I'm saying. And here comes the next particular thing. Yeah, you guessed it. Yep, lives back home with his mom, right? And I said when you met him, he lived at home with his mom. You know why he lived at home with his mom? Because one, he was unemployed. Two, he had two kids with two different women, multiple kids. And I'm just keeping it at two. Some of us have multiple. And like I said, please don't forget, I'm not judging. I'm not saying whatever because I definitely fit in some of these categories. And I'm not saying that people can't change because I've drastically improved my situation where none of this don't apply to me anymore. So people can change, but I'm just trying to tell you until they change, this is what you have to deal with. So now he's living back at home with his mama because he got an order for child support because he had the two kids. Then couldn't pay the child support, so he got arrested. So now he's back at home with his mom. So if you add all those factors up, lady, this is what you got to choose from, right? You say, okay, let's say if all those factors exist, that leaves about 60% of the men that you say, okay, I don't want to choose from. So you say is that's 40% more. There's a 40% chance that there are good men out there, right? That's just the five that I named, but not so fast, my friend. Let me just tell you that I didn't even name the ones that are gay. That's another potentially 20% of men right there. So which kicks up your percentage of men that you might not want to deal with at up to 80%, which leaves you a 20% chance. And I'm not knocking or bashing gay people or anything like that. I'm just speaking what I think to be the truth, giving you numbers and terms that you can understand. So you started off at 60% of the men that you might not want to choose, might not make suitable mates for you, right? Then now you got 20% that's other men that's gay. I'm talking about any particular way you go, you can get 1,000 men together, and I promise you 20% of those 1,000 men are gonna be gay. And that's not even to say that the people that's in this first five that I named, some of those people in that first five are gay, which takes the number up a little bit more. But I'm just trying to keep the numbers simple for you guys. All right. So now you got 80% of men that you might not want to deal with. You say, okay, 20% chance. I got a 20% chance of having somebody that's right for me, somebody that I can really get into, really, probably settle down and make a home with and have a good life with. 20% is good, but you're forgetting one thing that takes that number down just a little bit more. Because now you got 20%, and here comes the other 15% right here that no one takes into account. This right here, no one takes it into account. The white woman that comes in and says that she's tired of you black women complaining about there are no good men. Tired of you saying that you are the mother and the father to your kids. She's saying that you black women just say that shit because nobody wants to be accountable for their own BS. She said, and when you do choose a man, you always pick the spineless, knuckle dragging, dope dealing, cowardly type men, right? She said that's what you choose. She said you like to choose the uneducated, spineless type so you can manipulate and control them because no other man would put up with that bullshit that black women like to take men through. So she said, and the ones that are left, the educated ones that don't want to deal with the crap that y'all take men through, she said they'll take those, the ones who are educated, who's got something going on for themselves, who had dreams, hopes, and aspirations. She said, once y'all lead them to us, we'll take very good care of them, lead them in capable hands. And she said, why would they want to be with a nappy-headed hoe like y'all? And if you want to, you can pause this video if you watch it on replay and read it. This is what this woman says. And that's a true factor. 15% of the men don't even want y'all black women. You know what I mean? And then you got those women right there who are saying that now we taking the ones that are about something, that's trying to get out the hood, that's trying to do something with themselves, that we can see them, the dreams and their hopes and their aspirations, we can push them toward where they need to be. Because all y'all do is mock them. And if they not hard, y'all knock them down. Y'all make them feel like they punks, they faggots because they can't be the thug that you want. They're not allowed to be themselves around y'all because y'all ridicule and mock them. But this is not my words. This is just what I'm saying. So now that's 15% of the men that's gone right there. So now you at 95% of the men that you don't have a choice of choosing from. And that 15% that I just mentioned in this right here, what this woman is talking about, that's 15% of men who don't even want y'all. Because at this particular point, we have made black being your skin color, I'm saying, your physical, literally dark skin, as something that nobody wants anymore. I can't think of a race of women like the black women that are just so hated and degraded and just made to feel so ashamed of because of the physical, literally color of your skin. So I'm telling you, women, you better choose wisely because the deck is stacked against you guys. The deck is stacked where you don't even hardly have a chance anymore. That's why some of you guys are trying to settle down and be married and get in a relationship with gay guys. Guys who are openly gay, who saying that they want to be with other guys, but you feel it's a better alternative than the first 5 people that I put up in the category. Why is that? Why is that? Tell me that, people. Why is that? The first 5 people that I put up. Let me put that back up to show you that the first 5 people, 60% of the men, and this is all numbers that I came up with. This is it, people. This is it, women. That what you got to choose from. So now you down to 5%. Good luck on finding that needle in the haystack. Good luck on being in the right place at the right time to get your 5%. And now we live in a world where they saying that the women outnumber the men 9-1. When you finally do find your 5% woman, you're gonna have 50, 60 women chasing in that 5%. So when you finally find your one man in that 5%, you're gonna have so much competition. It's gonna be like it's gonna be like the Chinese taking over everything. That man's gonna be in that top tier. And God forbid if that man knows that he's in that top 5% of that man that everybody wants because he's not, he hasn't been arrested. He hasn't, don't have more than, 2 baby mamas. He's not on child support. He's not unemployed. He's not living with his mom. If he, God forbid, if he knows that, then he's really ready to play the game. He's really ready to lay down the gauntlet to make you jump through hoops because he know that he's in that upper echelon of wanted men. He know that the demand for him is very high and the supply of him is very low. So he knows. So I'm just telling y'all, women, I'm telling you, all the dysfunction aside, depression, and all those other X factors that I mentioned earlier aside, on a normal situation, you guys better take some time, do your due diligence, and I'm telling you, choose wisely. All right, I want to thank you guys for letting me talk and run my mouth again, and I hope this makes sense to you guys. I hope it kind of brought a little clarity to you guys. Thank you for listening to the Random Select. You can find the Random Select podcast anywhere that there's podcast, people. You can go to therandomselect.com for check out blogs, vlogs, and podcasts. Check us out on Facebook Live. Check us out on YouTube. We broadcast live on YouTube. Go to the YouTube channel, subscribe. Please, people, any little bit helps. We're trying to make the podcast as best as we can, make it even better. So go to Patreon, www.patreon.com/random select. Donate if you can, people. Or you can go to the randomselect.com and click on the donation tab, leave a donation. We will take it. But definitely support, subscribe everywhere, like us everywhere. We're on Twitter, Instagram, all those particular places. And with that being said, the Random Select is going to be out. Until the next time, people. Until the next time. All righty.